Hi, my name is Marty Machowski, and I'm going to be reading a story today out of my book, The Gospel Story Bible. I'm going to read the story of the resurrection. It's story number 117, and that's the picture. Now, we've been reading stories for this Easter season. We read the Maundy Thursday story of Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and then we read the story of the crucifixion. Now, for Easter Sunday, we get to read the best story of them all. The resurrection. Jesus was dead and buried in a tomb, but that wasn't enough for the Pharisees and chief priests. They went back to Pilate and said, "This man was a fake. When he was still alive, he told the people he would rise from the dead after 3 days. If his disciples get into his tomb and steal his body, they will tell everyone that Jesus has risen from the dead. You have to keep this from happening." So Pilate sent some soldiers to make sure the tomb was closed up tightly so that no one could get in. While the religious leaders watched, they put a Roman seal on the stone that closed up the tomb and posted their soldiers to guard it. It was early in the morning, the third day after Jesus died. Some women who loved Jesus were taking spices to the tomb to anoint his body. On their way, they asked each other, "Who will roll the stone away for us so we can get inside the tomb?" But they didn't have to worry, for moments earlier, while the guards stood watch, 2 angels came down from heaven. Their bodies shined like lightning, and their clothes were white as snow. The guards were so afraid that they were shaking. They fell down to the ground as though they were dead. One angel rolled back the stone and sat on it as a great earthquake shook the ground. Soon the women arrived and saw the angels with the stone rolled away. What had happened? One angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has risen just as he said. Come, see the place where he lay." Then the angels instructed the women to tell the disciples that Jesus would meet them in Galilee. When the women went into the tomb, Jesus' body was gone. Quickly they ran to tell the disciples. But the disciples found their story hard to believe. Peter and John ran to the tomb to see for themselves. They went inside and saw Jesus' grave clothes lying there, but Jesus himself was gone. That's when they believed what the woman had told them. After the disciples went home, Mary Magdalene, one of the 2 women, stayed outside the tomb crying. 2 angels came to her and asked, "Why are you crying?" "Someone has taken away my Lord," Mary said, "and I don't know where they have laid him." She had taken the disciples the message, but she hadn't understood it herself. Then Mary turned and noticed a 3rd man was standing there. She thought he was the gardener, but then he called out her name, "Mary." At once, she knew it was the Lord Jesus. She fell at his feet and worshipped him. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." So Mary returned to the disciples and told them she had seen the Lord. Did you know that Jesus' death and resurrection is the most important part of the whole Bible? Every story in the Bible that took place before Jesus looks forward to his death and resurrection. Every story after Jesus' death and resurrection looks back upon those days to celebrate the good news of the gospel. The Apostle Paul said that the resurrection is so important that we are lost without it.